You want to get shot right in the face?
What are you doing? He's sick!
Why would you let me?
It's the same old story. Cops showing their muscle over minorities. And sure enough, it happened again. So, it all kicked off when Jackson Olin High School went head-to-head with Minor High School at Jackson Olin Stadium. After the football game wrapped up, the cops showed up and told everyone to clear out. But guess what? Both school bands were still jamming out. The officers spoke with the directors of both bands to ask them to stop their performances so that people would leave. They successfully convinced one band, J.O.'s, to stop playing. Next, they approached the band director from Minor High School and asked him to do the same. However, he ignored their request, and his band continued to play. Among the officers was a sergeant from the police department, who was involved in trying to persuade the band director to stop his band from playing. During the conversation, they decided to arrest him for his behavior. However, as they attempted to do so, a fight broke out involving the band director, security personnel from the Birmingham City school system, and the police officers. The police officers attempted to have the band director place his hands behind his back, but he resisted. According to the arresting officer, the band director allegedly pushed him during the arrest. Consequently, the officer resorted to using a taser to quell the altercation and proceeded to arrest the band director. Subsequently, the police transported the band director to UAB Hospital, as per standard procedure in such situations. Following his treatment at the hospital, they took him to the Birmingham City Jail for processing, where he was released after posting bail. This incident remains under investigation, and it is hoped that the director will receive a fair resolution. Following the incident at the school game, let's examine the police response in Pryor to a suspected drunk individual, leading to another controversial incident involving Charles Burrow, a 37-year-old. The Pryor police received 3 911 calls about a man suspected of driving drunk. They reported that a man in a white Toyota SUV seemed asleep or nearly asleep while driving on the road. When Officer Phillips arrived at the scene, he found Charles Burrow sitting in his parked SUV at the Okie Dokie gas station on Graham Avenue in Pryor. The video footage showed Officer Phillips approaching Burrow's SUV and asking him to show his hands.
Hey, let me see your hand.
Burrow raised his hand slightly with his face turned away. Phillips tried to open the SUV door, but Burrow resisted and closed it. However, Burrow then opened it himself by reaching through the window to use the handle outside. At that moment, Phillips stepped back, pointed his gun at Burrow's head.
Yeah. Let me see your hands. Right now.
Yeah.
You want to get shot right in the face?
And ordered him to show his hands or face the threat of being shot. Following this, Phillips pushed Burrow to the ground. Once Burrow was handcuffed, Phillips turned him onto his side and asked for his name.
What's your name?
Burrow, who was groaning and spitting, didn't respond until Phillips helped him sit up against the SUV. Phillips then asked Burrow for his ID. Burrow informed him that it was in the middle part of his SUV. After that, the body camera video stopped. Burrow's family believed the video showed he followed the officer's orders during the arrest and claimed the officer's behavior was unfair and too rough. Following this incident, the officer was placed on modified duty and the department initiated further investigation into the arrest. Third case. Moving on from the gas station story, let's see what happened with a couple at a hospital. It's another time when the police got involved. Harrison McLean fell ill, prompting his wife Lindsay to rush him to the hospital. However, things took a turn for the worse when the hospital staff suspected Lindsay of driving drunk. They formed this suspicion because she entered the emergency room through the wrong entrance. To make matters worse, they confiscated her keys. Jacob Proctor, one of the two police officers tasked with handling the suspected DUI case, entered the lobby. There, he approached Lindsay, who was conversing with Officer Emily Taylor, while Harrison remained nearby. Proctor observed that Lindsay's breath had the scent of alcohol, and she exhibited other signs of intoxication. Additionally, Proctor received statements from witnesses affirming their belief that Lindsay was drunk. In response, Proctor informed Lindsay that because she had driven to the hospital and had been drinking, he needed to ensure she was fit to drive. Lindsay countered by stating that a friend waiting outside could provide her with a ride home.
I'm not driving. My friend is right here.
You've already driven.
No, my friend is right here.
Proctor then asked Lindsay if she would refuse or consent to the tests. Lindsay said no and began to walk away. At this point, Proctor seized her left arm and informed her that she was under arrest. In a sudden turn of events, Harrison leaped out of his chair and advanced towards Proctor. Harrison, a tall man standing at 6'6", ended up on the ground, tightly gripping Proctor's legs, while Lindsay screamed in the background.
What are you doing? I don't have What are you doing? Stop.
Two male security guards hurried to assist Proctor, attempting to restrain Harrison. Proctor explained that he had to punch Harrison in the ribs multiple times because Harrison wouldn't let go and was dangerously close to his police belt. Additionally, Harrison was accused of taking Officer Taylor's radio during the scuffle. However, Harrison claimed that he didn't punch Proctor with a closed fist and argued that Proctor used excessive force against his wife. Harrison asserted that he would have released Proctor once he left, only resorting to force on his wife. The McLeans maintained their respect for the police, but believed that Proctor had acted too hastily and exacerbated the situation when it was already under control. Lindsay McLean alleged that the police were called because she had an argument with the receptionist, which began when the receptionist made rude comments about her husband's medical condition. Lindsay expressed shock and dismay that her husband was punched in the stomach multiple times, particularly considering that he was at the hospital due to stomach problems. She can be heard in one of the videos yelling that he's in terrible shape.
What are you doing? He's sick!
It's indeed a frightening situation, isn't it? Now, onto our final story. This one's about a woman who just wanted a hamburger, but ended up in a tough spot with the police. Let's dive into what happened. Hancock ordered a Big Mac with extra cheese at McDonald's, but didn't get the extra cheese she paid for. When she brought it up, the manager asked the cook to fix the order. However, when the cook tried to charge Hancock again, she refused to pay twice, but still wanted her hamburger. The cook then asked her to leave and called her a trespasser. Feeling wronged, Hancock walked away, but decided to talk to the police about the situation, hoping to either get her money back or her sandwich. She calmly explained the mix-up to the officers.
All I wanted was to be remade with an extra piece of cheese.
I completely
She started screaming at me.
However, things took a turn when she declined to give her name to one of the officers. The officer warned Hancock to cooperate or face potential arrest. When she continued to withhold her identity, the officers moved to arrest her, leading to a confrontation. Officer Stanley struck Hancock in the face and head.
I'm gonna face the car! Oh my God! Why would you let me?
As captured in a video filmed by Mario Robinson, who happened to be at McDonald's with his family celebrating his daughter's birthday. Hancock suffered injuries, including a busted lip, loose teeth, and a back injury,
My lip feels like it's busted or something.
It is.
requiring her to stay in the hospital overnight. She was later charged with resisting arrest and failure to provide identification. Additionally, she received citations for driving with a suspended license and having an open container of alcohol in her car. Following the incident, Officer Stanley was put on paid administrative leave pending an investigation by the department. Any findings of misconduct will result in appropriate disciplinary action. That's all for today's news roundup. We appreciate you being here. Don't miss out on future updates. Subscribe to our channel now